What's up, YouTube? Got this project here. I'm gonna try to keep this intro short and sweet. I'm an idiot and decided to film this video vertical instead of horizontal. So stay tuned. The next couple episodes of this build series are gonna be filmed horizontal. So hang in there and enjoy. Well, here it is, 1975 Honda XL125. Let's take a closer look at this thing and see what's going on. So let's start with a little visual inspection here. This bike's got a little under 10,000 miles, which is arguably a lot for a little 125cc single cylinder. Let's start with what this bike's gonna need to get back on the road, essentially. We'll start up front. We got dry rotted old tires. We have some sort of issue here with the front end. Somebody's most likely dropped it and kicked the triples out of alignment. Not a huge deal. We're missing our dust caps, wiper caps for the forks. Let's pan over here to the motor. We have a boot going from the airbox to the carburetor. It's gone. Tank. I was told the tank was rusted out. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, no, we got some pretty major rust in there. We got a ripped seat cover. We have some wires here, which I'm guessing were the ground wires for the blinkers, which are no longer there. We're also missing our plate bracket, tail light. Nothing essential to making the bike run, but to make it street legal, we'll need those things. Let's jump on the other side of the bike. Over here, we got a rusted out chain, not unusual. Somebody's been in here. We're missing a battery. We're supposed to have an end here with a fuse, etc. Go to the 6-volt. Wires for the tail. Somebody's decided to cut and disconnect, leave dangling. Let's see. Let's jump up here to the clutch lever. One thing that concerns me here, if you can see how far out this adjuster is, take a look here, and then if we walk to the other side of the bike, same thing down here. I've seen this many times. Somebody's taken the nut off the other side of this, which is supposed to lock this in place on this little bracket. And they'll move it to the other side, essentially double nutting it, giving the clutch more throw because it's worn out. So when and if this bike ever runs, we will have to pull this clutch cover, pull the plates, inspect, check everything. But I think what we're gonna start with doing is grabbing a little starter fluid, and it's got oil, it's got compression, at least some, and we're just gonna spray some in there and see what happens. Let's give this thing a couple squirts of starter fluid with the throttle wide open. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm as surprised as you guys are. It's a very good sign. Bike only ran for 2 seconds. So what we're gonna end up doing now is most likely pulling the carburetor. Here's the carburetor. Very simple. This is a single cylinder. It's got one piston. It's got one carburetor. That's how it is. Pretty standard. We got either a 10 or 11 millimeter nut here. One on the other side. We have our slide that sits on the inside of the carburetor. We just got to undo this top hat. Here it is on the bench. So typically when I take carburetors off, I have a rebuild kit. In this case, I want to know if the bike's going to run for any X period of time. We're just going to end up cleaning this one. I haven't taken this exact year carb apart before, so bear with me. We have our idle screw. We have our air screw. You'll know if it's an air screw because it's going to be facing toward the air box or air filter side versus a fuel screw, which would either be up here or sometimes down below. This style float bowl, which is this guy here, we don't have any float bowl screws. This is an old bike. It's just got this little metal bracket you just push off. And let's see how it looks on the inside. I normally knock that off. I'll take the end of a screwdriver. Well, by the looks of that tank, I am not surprised that this is the way this looks. Honestly, still surprised. I don't think it looks as terrible as I pictured. You can see there's still some fluid in there. This is probably what gas, rust, water turns into when you let your bike sit. So we have our float. We have a float needle on the inside that hangs down, which probably can't see too well right now. We have our main, we have our emulsion tube that's connected to that. We have our pilot jet. So we're gonna start with pulling the pilot jet out. I can tell you right now, without even looking in that, it's clogged with the way this bowl looks. And we're gonna take our 8mm wrench here, flat blade on the top. I'm gonna crack this loose, just like that. Set the main down, grab a wrench, crack the emulsion tube loose. There's our emulsion tube. It's got all these little holes to allow fuel flow. The tricky one, which you already know. Here's our float pin, runs through the float. These tend to get stuck on these older bikes, which is kind of usual. So what I like to use is this little pin. Has a little spring inside it. Get it lined up right here if I can, and it should knock it through. You got to be careful because you will break these ears off. You don't want to break those off. There we go. See how that kind of pushed that through there? Not quite, but it got it through somewhere. So let's grab a pair of pliers and we'll pull it out. There we go. Here's our float, metal float. Our float needle, also metal. Not the most reliable thing in the world, but for how old this bike is. And then we have our seat, which we're gonna pull out. This is a 10mm. We'll get to that in a second. Let's pull our screws out. What I like to do here, because I want these passageways clean, is I like to give me a baseline for the next time I put this back together. I like to run the screw in, at least the air screw, and count the turns. Let's see. Here we go, this thing's tight. Half a turn. That's at like half a turn. So when I go to put it back together, I'll do a little research, but I'll probably put it roughly back where it was, so we kind of have a good place to start. Now keep in mind, I'll have to kind of set this up because it has no airbox boot, so it is going to be running a little bit on the leaner side for those that don't know. All right, our air screws out. I like to kind of, even though it's all going to go in the tank, I like to set it all up so we don't lose anything. Rags help too on your workbench. Stuff's less likely to roll away. As for our idle screw, you don't have to count this. It's just pretty random, depending on your elevation, etc., etc. Let's pull this all the way out. There should be a spring behind it, just like there was on the air screw. Yep. Cool, that's out. You grab a 10mm, and then we'll pull the seat out, throw it in the tank, and get it clean. Pulled the carburetor out of the ultrasonic cleaner. It looks much, much better. As you can see, it's not perfect. It's stained. It's old. It doesn't matter. All I want is for this thing to run. Here's the body. Like I said, stained, old. For those that don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, get yourself a can of brake cleaner or carb cleaner. I like brake cleaner personally because it doesn't damage the seals inside your carburetor. It's a little less aggressive, but in the end, it's safer. So now that it's out of the tank, that tank's only going to do so much. So what I like to do is take some brake cleaner and just spray through some of these passages. Don't go crazy, and wear your safety glasses, people. Brake cleaner in your eye is not good. I've been there, done that. So anyway, let's go through a couple of these passages lightly with some brake cleaner. And one thing I like to do is grab these guys. These things work great, these little brushes. So we'll find one. I think will work here. Let's do this one. Might be a little small, but the idea is there. So what I'll do is I'll spray a little cleaner on it. I'll run it through this main here. One thing too, when you're cleaning the carburetor, you do not want to lose this little brass piece in the center there. It's very hard to see, but it's in the center. It's right where your needle seats. If you're cleaning out a carburetor, sometimes they fall out. If you lose it, it'll never run right. So we're just gonna go through a couple of these passageways with this brush because it's a little more aggressive. Once that's done, grab yourself some air and blow through the carburetor. Big one, like I said. You come through the top here, you do not want this little brass piece in the center to shoot out. Guys, got our carburetor back together. Threw a little grease on this O-ring until I get the time to rebuild this thing, depending on how it's gonna run. A little grease helps things seal up. We're gonna throw the carb back on. I've already cleaned this slide. I pulled the needle out off camera. We're in the third clip position, which is right in the middle. That's where we're gonna start for now because we don't know if this thing's even gonna run or whatever the case may be. So the carb back on, and then I'll catch you guys when I pull the spark plug. We got the carb back on the bike. We're gonna pull the spark plug. I don't have a replacement plug. I do have a spark plug cleaner. I'll show you guys how that works. Let's go ahead and pop that cap off. Undo our plug. I don't know what this thing looks like. I have a feeling it's gonna be dark. We'll see. Oh yeah. This is exactly why I pulled plugs. So had I gone through this carburetor, just left the plug in there, it may have ran okay. It's good to either replace or clean this. Like I said, I don't have this D80A. We're gonna clean it. I'm gonna show you guys that right now. Throw the plug back in it, put some gas to it, and see what it does. We got our spark plug cleaner here by a company called SunX. Works great. It's pretty much got sandblast media here inside. It's supposed to be mounted on a wall, but I don't have a place to mount it. Hook it up to your air compressor. You got a blast and a blow. We're gonna go ahead and stick our spark plug in there. Just like so. And then we're gonna blast it. You're gonna wanna rotate the spark plug just ever so slightly. All right, let's see what it looks like. And just like that, I mean, it's not perfect, but for this application, to get it to run, I think it does a hell of a job. All right, everything's hooked back up. We got our spark plug cleaned off, put back in there. I would have checked for spark, but the bike fired up and ran, so it's gotta have spark. We're obviously not going to use our gas tank because it's completely full of rust. So this little Motion Pro Fuel reservoir container works great. We're going to put some fresh 91 in there, and then we'll see if we have any leaks on the carburetor. If we don't, we'll give it a couple kicks and see what happens. All right, we have gas hooked up to it. We got a little fuel filter, so carburetor's getting fuel. I don't see any leaks out of our overflow yet. I don't see any leaks out of the base of the float because we didn't replace that seal. So far, so good. Let me jump up there and give it a couple kicks. Suppose the moment of truth. On our air screw, we're set about 1.5 turns. Went a little higher out because I had a feeling somebody may have messed with it. We're gonna start at 1.5 turns. I don't know where the idle is. We're gonna kick the choke on, give it a kick, and then we'll adjust our idle and our air screw and see what this thing does. Here we go. Choke on. Got some fuel. All right, I'm giving it a little throttle right now to keep it alive. Turn the choke off. Come around to this side. All right. Sounding a little rough at idle, so we're going to run our air screw in because we're not running any air box. All right, we ran a half turn in. We'll go back to where it was. Now it doesn't like that. We're going to go back out. The rule of thumb with these is to just kind of play with it until you hear the idle come up. like right there. Maybe we'll go back out that other quarter turn. I think it likes it right here. Kind of play with it. It's cold. It hasn't been ran in a long time. Although I'm not seeing any smoke out of the exhaust yet. I haven't given it a rev, but we'll see. We're gonna give it a minute of just idling, and then we'll give it a rev. And we'll adjust our air screw again. All right, guys. Well, as you can see, it's idling. It's a little clunky. It's an old bike. Adjust the air screw now. It's a little warm. I don't want to leave it running too long because I know that oil didn't look that great. Who knows what's in there? I'll give it a couple reps for you guys. I'm not seeing any smoke, which is a good sign. But I still have that feeling like we're going to have to pull this clutch cover and replace the clutch. But anyway. It's got a little hang. It's running lean. It doesn't have the airbox tube. So, I mean, hey, I'm happy with it. It runs, that's what matters. Back our idle off a little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. You can see all the dirt, grime falling off this thing. Who knows the last time it was started. Maybe it was recent. I don't know. If it's not blowing any smoke, which surprises me, but yeah, we got ourselves a running bike. Let's see if the kill switch works. Yeah, kill switch works. Can't complain. For its 1975 Honda, I'm impressed, I gotta say. Anyway, tune in for the next episode, see where we go with this thing. I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet. It's obviously not the most perfect vehicle out there. Thinking maybe a Scrambler build, tracker build, not quite sure yet. It'd probably be pretty pricey to restore it to stock, but either way, tune in next time, guys.